Hello and welcome to another episode of the Magnificent Seven.
Are we calling it that now?
Okay, maybe not.
Yeah.
But welcome to the deep dive. Today we're diving into the Google Pixel 9 and Pixel 9 Pro.
Oh,
You're thinking about a phone upgrade, and these have caught your eye.
yeah, they're popular.
Smart move. They're packed with features, but deciding between the two can be tricky.
There are a lot of similarities.
That's where we come in. We've gone through reviews, specs, comparisons, and user comments
Trying to make it easier for you.
to help you choose.
Yeah.
So, by the end of this deep dive, you'll know exactly which Pixel 9 is right for you.
Sounds good.
Let's start with the design and display.
Okay.
Both phones look sleek and modern, but there's one major difference.
What's that?
The Pixel 9 Pro has a higher resolution display with LTPO technology.
Now, LTPO might sound like technical jargon,
Right.
but it has a big impact on your experience.
How so?
It allows for a variable refresh rate, meaning the screen can adjust how often it updates the image. So when you're scrolling through a website, it can ramp up to 120 hertz for super smooth motion.
Oh, wow.
But if you're just reading an email, it can drop down to 1 hertz to save battery.
That's clever, so you get the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
Smoothness and longer battery life.
exactly. And speaking of saving battery, the Pixel 9 actually has a significantly longer battery life than the Pixel 8,
Really?
even though it has the same battery capacity. We're talking an extra 3 to 4 hours of screen time,
Wow.
which is a huge leap forward.
That's a game changer for anyone who's ever been frustrated with their phone dying too quickly.
For sure.
But before we move on from design, the base Pixel 9 also has a cool new feature,
Oh.
an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor.
Oh, yes. This is a big improvement over the optical sensors in older models.
Wow, so
Ultrasonic sensors use sound waves to map your fingerprint,
neat.
making them much faster and more accurate, even if your finger is a bit wet or dirty.
I see.
No more fumbling in the dark.
I can see why users are happy about that.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk performance.
Oh.
Both phones are powered by Google's Tensor G4 chip.
The Tensor G4 is really interesting because Google designed it with a focus on artificial intelligence, or AI.
Well,
This means it can handle complex tasks like image processing, language translation, and voice recognition incredibly quickly and efficiently.
so all those cool AI features we'll be talking about are powered by this Tensor G4 chip.
Exactly. But it's worth noting that while the G4 excels at AI tasks, some reviewers have pointed out that it might not be as powerful as other top-tier chips
Really?
when it comes to demanding games or heavy multitasking.
So something to consider if you're a hardcore gamer.
Definitely. But both phones do run the latest Android operating system,
Okay,
which
yeah.
is known for its clean, user-friendly interface, and perhaps the biggest selling point for some people.
What's that?
You get a whopping 7 years of software updates.
7 years. That's practically unheard of in the smartphone world.
It's a bold move by Google, and it shows their commitment to long-term support. It means your phone will stay up to date with the latest features and security patches for years to come.
Wow.
You're essentially future-proofing your device.
Okay, now let's get to the fun stuff.
All right.
The AI magic. The Pixel 9 series features Gemini, which is Google's latest and greatest AI assistant.
Think of Gemini as your super smart sidekick. It can summarize lengthy messages, edit photos with incredible precision using the Magic Editor,
Cool.
even translate conversations in real time.
Hold on, it can translate conversations live.
Yes.
Yeah.
Imagine you're traveling in a foreign country and you need to communicate with someone who doesn't speak your language.
Yeah.
Gemini can listen to the conversation and provide real-time translations, breaking down language barriers.
That's incredible. And what about this Magic Editor? What can it do?
Let's say you have a photo where the lighting is a bit off, or there's an unwanted object in the background.
Okay.
With Magic Editor, you can make those adjustments with just a few taps.
Oh, wow.
You can even reposition people or objects in the photo to create the perfect composition.
It sounds almost too good to be true. What did the reviewers say about these AI features?
Well, the reactions were mixed. Some reviewers were blown away by the capabilities of Gemini,
Okay.
while others found them a bit gimmicky or not as seamless as they had hoped.
So maybe not quite the revolutionary leap forward some people were expecting.
It's still early days for Gemini, but it has the potential to transform how we use our smartphones.
I'm definitely intrigued. And speaking of cool features, let's move on to the camera showdown.
All right.
Both phones boast fantastic cameras, but the Pro model steps it up a notch.
They both have a 50-megapixel main camera and a 48-megapixel ultra-wide lens,
Okay.
which captures stunning detail and vibrant colors.
Nice.
But the Pro adds a 48-megapixel telephoto lens, enabling up to 30x zoom.
Wow.
The base Pixel 9 maxes out at 8x.
So if you're into capturing those far-off shots, like wildlife or sporting events, the Pro's telephoto lens would be a huge advantage.
Absolutely. It opens up a whole new world of photographic possibilities. And both phones benefit from Google's advanced computational photography algorithms,
Oh yeah, those are supposed to be really good.
which enhance image quality and create those signature pixel looks.
Let's talk about those special features. I've heard so much about night sight, portrait mode, and even something called magic erasure.
Night sight is incredible for low-light photography.
Okay.
It uses AI to brighten up dark scenes while preserving detail and reducing noise,
Oh wow.
resulting in photos that are surprisingly clear and vibrant.
Nice.
Portrait mode creates that professional-looking blurred background effect, making your subjects pop.
I like that.
And magic eraser, it's like having a magic wand for your photos.
Okay.
You can literally remove unwanted objects or people from your pictures with a few taps.
It sounds like Google's put a lot of effort into making these cameras user-friendly and fun.
They have. And for videographers, both phones can shoot in 4K resolution at up to 60 frames per second.
Wow.
And they also feature a new cinematic blur mode that adds a shallow depth of field to your videos, giving them that cinematic look.
So, regardless of which Pixel 9 you choose, you're getting a top-of-the-line camera experience.
Yeah, they're both great.
But before we get lost in the world of photography, let's not forget about another crucial factor: battery life.
Right.
Earlier you mentioned that the base Pixel 9 saw a huge improvement in battery life compared to the Pixel 8.
Yes, that's right. Reviewers consistently reported getting a full day of use out of the Pixel 9, even with heavy usage.
Okay.
And the Pixel 9 Pro, with its LTPO display technology, also boasts impressive battery life,
Nice.
even surpassing some of its competitors.
So, gone are the days of constantly searching for a charger.
Absolutely. And both phones support fast charging, so you can quickly top up the battery if you're in a hurry.
That's good.
They also support wireless charging, which is convenient if you prefer to just set your phone down on a charging pad.
Speaking of convenience and peace of mind, I've read about a really impressive safety feature on the Pixel 9 series:
Oh, yeah.
Satellite SOS.
This is a game changer, especially for anyone who ventures off the beaten path. Imagine you're hiking in a remote area with no cell service, and you need to call for help.
Very.
With Satellite SOS, you can send an emergency message via satellite, even if you're outside of cellular coverage.
Wow, that's incredible. So no matter where you are in the world,
Yeah.
you can have that extra layer of security, knowing you can reach out for help in an emergency.
Exactly. It's a testament to how far smartphone technology has come in terms of safety and connectivity.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here, from design and display to performance.
Yeah.
AI features the incredible cameras and even those important safety features.
Yeah, we've been through a lot.
But of course, we can't talk about smartphones without addressing the elephant in the room:
Oh.
the price tag.
Right, let's talk numbers. The Pixel 9 starts at $799,
Okay.
while the Pixel 9 Pro starts at $999.
That's a pretty big difference.
That $200 difference is certainly something to consider.
So is the Pro worth the extra cost?
That depends entirely on your needs and priorities.
Okay.
The Pixel 9 offers incredible value for its price.
I can see this.
You get a fantastic camera, excellent battery life, a smooth and responsive performance, and all the essential features you need in a modern smartphone.
But if you're looking for the best of the best,
Yeah.
the Pro model offers that extra edge with its higher resolution LTPO display,
Right.
telephoto lens, and more RAM for even smoother multitasking.
Exactly. And the Pro also comes in higher storage options if you need that extra space for photos, videos, and apps.
So how can our listener figure out which Pixel 9 is the right fit for them?
I think it's important to ask yourself a few key questions.
Like what?
How important is screen resolution and refresh rate to you? Do you need the versatility of a telephoto lens for your photography? And what's your budget?
Good questions.
Answering these questions will help you narrow down your choices.
Great advice. And remember, there's no right or wrong answer here. It's all about finding the phone that best suits your individual needs and preferences. But we're not done yet. There's still more to explore in the world of the Pixel 9 and 9 Pro.
Oh, we're not done.
We've only just scratched the surface. In the next part of our deep dive, we'll be delving into some of the lesser-known features and nuances of these phones.
Cool.
And we'll be addressing some of the concerns and criticisms that have emerged from user feedback.
Okay, I'm interested to hear that.
So stay tuned for that. We'll be right back after a short break.
Sounds good. Welcome back. Before the break, we were discussing the Pixel 9's price tag, but there's another factor that can be just as important as the upfront cost.
What's that?
Software updates.
You're talking about those 7 years of updates Google is promising?
Exactly.
That's got to factor into the value proposition, right?
Absolutely. Think of it as an investment.
Yeah.
You're not just buying a phone for today. You're buying a phone that will stay relevant and secure for years to come.
Right.
That's something you don't get with a lot of other smartphone brands.
So in the long run, that could save you money because you won't need to upgrade as frequently.
Exactly. And speaking of long-term value, let's revisit those AI features powered by the Tensor G4 chip. One that's been getting a lot of buzz is the call screen feature.
Oh, yeah. I've heard about this. It's like a virtual bouncer for your phone calls.
Right? That's a great analogy. Call screen uses AI to filter out spam and robocalls.
Okay.
If an unknown number calls you, your phone can answer for you and ask who's calling and why.
And then what?
You can then see a transcript of the conversation on your screen and decide whether to pick up or not.
That's brilliant. I can't tell you how many annoying spam calls I get every day.
It's a real problem, and Google's using AI to tackle it head on.
I see.
And this is just one example of how the Pixel 9 series integrates AI into everyday tasks to make your life easier.
I'm starting to see why Google's making such a big deal about this Tensor G4 chip. It's not just about raw processing power, it's about enabling these intelligent features that can genuinely enhance our experience.
Precisely. It's about making technology work for you, not the other way around.
Okay, before we wrap up, I wanted to circle back to something we briefly touched upon earlier. The camera. We talked about all the amazing features like night sight and magic eraser.
Right.
But I'm curious, what stood out to you in the user reviews about the camera?
Well, one thing that came up repeatedly was the ease of use.
Oh.
Even people who aren't tech-savvy or photography experts were able to capture stunning photos and videos with the Pixel 9 series.
That's good to hear.
The interface is intuitive, and Google's computational photography does a lot of the heavy lifting for you.
So you don't need to be a professional photographer to get professional-looking results.
Exactly. Google has done a great job of making high-quality photography accessible to everyone.
I remember reading about a feature called Top Shot. What is that all about?
Top Shot is a really clever feature.
Oh.
It uses AI to capture a series of photos before and after you press the shutter button.
Oh.
Then it analyzes those images and recommends the best one,
How does it know which one is best?
often catching a moment you might have missed otherwise.
So it sort of predicts the best shot.
It's especially handy for action shots or when you're photographing kids or pets who never seem to stay still.
That's like having a personal photography assistant.
Right. And it helps you capture those spontaneous moments that might have otherwise been lost.
Now, we talked a lot about the positives, but I also know there were some criticisms and concerns raised by users.
Yeah, there were a few.
What were some of the common complaints you noticed in the reviews?
One area that received some mixed feedback was the performance of the Tensor G4 chip in certain situations.
Okay.
While it excels at AI tasks, some users reported occasional lag or stuttering when multitasking or running demanding apps.
So it's not a perfect chip.
Well, no chip is perfect.
True.
And it's worth remembering that software optimization plays a big role in overall performance. It's possible Google could address some of these issues with future software updates.
That's a good point. Software can make a big difference. Were there any other concerns that popped up frequently?
Another area where users had differing opinions was the design of the camera bar on the back of the phone.
Oh yeah, that thing's huge.
Some people loved the unique and distinctive look, while others found it a bit bulky or awkward.
Ah yes, the camera bar.
Yeah.
It's certainly a prominent feature. It seems like every phone maker is trying to find the best way to house those increasingly sophisticated camera systems.
It's a design challenge for sure. And ultimately, it comes down to personal preference.
Speaking of personal preferences, did you notice any recurring themes in the reviews regarding which phone people ultimately preferred, the Pixel 9 or the Pixel 9 Pro?
It's interesting there wasn't a clear consensus. It seemed to really come down to individual needs and priorities.
Okay.
For people who valued the absolute best display and camera technology, the Pixel 9 Pro was the clear winner.
Makes sense.
But for those who were more budget conscious or who didn't need the extra bells and whistles, the Pixel 9 was seen as an exceptional value.
So it sounds like Google has done a good job of offering options to cater to different types of users.
I think so. They've struck a good balance between innovation and affordability.
All right, as we start to wrap up our deep dive into the Pixel 9 series, I want to shift gears for a moment and talk about the broader smartphone landscape.
Okay.
Where do these Pixel phones fit in, especially compared to the competition from Apple and Samsung?
That's a great question. The Pixel 9 series definitely made a splash when it was released, and for good reason.
Yeah, they're good phones.
Google really stepped up its game in terms of camera capabilities, battery life, and those unique AI features.
But they were up against some formidable rivals, like the iPhone 15 and the Samsung Galaxy S24.
Absolutely. The iPhone 15 boasts Apple's signature sleek design,
Right.
seamless integration within its ecosystem, and a powerful processor.
And the Samsung?
The Galaxy S24 offers a more feature-packed experience with its foldable display and advanced camera system.
So how do the Pixel phones stack up against these giants?
Well, it depends on what you're looking for in a smartphone.
Yeah.
The Pixel 9 series excels in camera performance, particularly in low-light situations and with its telephoto lens capabilities. The AI features are also innovative and offer some genuinely useful functionalities.
I agree.
And let's not forget that impressive battery life.
But you mentioned earlier that the Pixel 9's Tensor G4 processor, while great for AI, might not be as powerful as the chips in the iPhone 15 or Galaxy S24.
That's true. So for users who prioritize raw processing power for demanding games or heavy multitasking, those other phones might be a better fit.
So it seems like choosing a smartphone is all about trade-offs.
It is. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. It's about finding the phone that best aligns with your individual needs and preferences.
Right.
But overall, I think the Pixel 9 series offers a compelling blend of innovative features, a clean and intuitive software experience, and Google's signature focus on camera excellence.
It's a strong contender in the flagship smartphone market, that's for sure.
Definitely.
Okay, before we move on to our final thoughts, I wanted to touch on one more thing I saw mentioned in some of the reviews.
What's that?
Software bugs. Specifically, there were some reports of issues with the private space feature on the Pixel 9 Pro after the Android 15 update.
You're right. Some users reported encountering problems with private space,
Okay.
which is a feature that allows you to create a separate secure space on your phone for sensitive data and apps.
I see.
Unfortunately, the details of these issues were a bit vague in the reviews, but it seems like it was something Google needed to address.
It's a reminder that even with all the advancements in technology software, glitches can still happen.
Absolutely. And as users, it's important for us to report those issues so they can be fixed.
So while the Pixel 9 series is packed with innovative features, it's not without its quirks.
That's true of any complex piece of technology.
Well, I think we've covered just about everything there is to know about the Pixel 9 and 9 Pro. We've explored the design, the display, the performance, the AI-powered features, the camera, the battery life, the price, even those nagging software bugs. Hopefully you now have a much clearer picture of what these phones offer and whether they might be the right fit for you.
And if you're still on the fence, remember, there are tons of resources available online,
Right.
including in-depth reviews, comparison videos, and user forums where you can get even more information and insights.
Great point. Do your research, explore your options, and choose the phone that best suits your needs and lifestyle. But before we sign off, we'd like to leave you with a few final thoughts to ponder. We've talked a lot about the tech specs and features, but at the end of the day, a smartphone is more than just a collection of components.
True.
It's a tool that connects us to the world, helps us capture memories, and keeps us entertained.
That's a really important point. It's easy to get caught up in the hype of the latest and greatest technology.
Right.
But we should always remember that technology is a means to an end, not an end in itself.
Exactly. So, as you consider upgrading to a Pixel 9 or any other new phone,
Yeah,
think about how it will fit into your life,
right.
how it will enhance your daily experiences, and whether it aligns with your values and priorities.
For example, if you're someone who values sustainability, you might want to research Google's efforts in terms of ethical sourcing and responsible manufacturing.
Good point.
Or if you're concerned about data privacy, you might want to delve deeper into Google's privacy policies and how they handle your personal information.
Those are great points. It's easy to overlook those bigger picture considerations when you're dazzled by shiny new features.
Absolutely. And as technology continues to evolve at an unprecedented pace, I think it's more important than ever to be mindful and intentional about the choices we make as consumers.
Well said. We've covered a lot of ground today, from the nitty-gritty details of the Pixel 9's camera system to those broader questions about the role of technology in our lives.
Yeah, it's been a good discussion.
Hopefully, this deep dive has given you a more holistic understanding of these phones and what they represent.
And remember, the beauty of technology is that it's constantly evolving. What's cutting edge today might be commonplace tomorrow.
That's the exciting part. Who knows what incredible innovations await us in the future of smartphones? Maybe one day we'll be having a deep dive on a phone that can fold itself into a drone and take us on aerial adventures.
Now that's a deep dive I'd love to be a part of.
Me too. But until then, we'll keep exploring the latest and greatest in tech right here on The Deep Dive.
We'll be here, ready to break it all down for you.
Remember to subscribe to our channel.
And tell your friends. The more the merrier.
Until next time, happy tech exploring.